Hey everybody! Today we're looking at a curious thing. The same Harley Quinn design released by 3 different toy companies. Okay, I know what you're thinking. The companies remake figures all the time, but this is the rare event where 3 different companies made essentially the same toy, 2 concurrently. We're used to seeing the same character design done in different scales, different styles, different stylized designs, different price values, and different releases for different countries. But in this case, we have 3 Harley Quinn figures released in the same scale, for the same market, and close enough in price point that it would have a large crossover in the collectors fitting this into their budget. Alright, enough mystery. I'm talking about the Batman Arkham City Harley Quinn. As a quick recap for those who don't know, Arkham City is a video game released in 2011 for Windows, the PS3, and Xbox 360 initially. It's the sequel to Batman Arkham Asylum and was followed by Batman Arkham Origins, Batman Arkham Knight, and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, as well as a few smaller spin-offs for mobile and VR systems. But that's beside the point. We're sticking to toys today, and in particular the Arkham City design for Harley. But when Harley appeared in the Arkham Asylum game, the first one, she wore a sexy nurse design, which was a bit of a departure for her at the time, as at that point she was mainly known for her original Jester's outfit. My, how times have changed. DC Direct released toys based on the game, and of course Harley, being one of the game's main antagonists, received one. This 2009 release is very reminiscent of a time when collector-focused toys seem to favor design over playability, as her articulation is pretty limited. A 7-inch scale figure, she looks good, but there's only so many poses you can give her. Articulation is largely limited to swivel and hinge joints, though the shoulders can move outward somewhat. The power pose stance and fixed ankles mean she's more of a display piece than an action figure. A redeco of this figure in brighter colors and with blood splatter was available in a 2014 4-pack with Batman, Joker, and Scarecrow, all of them re-releases in some way. Now, when Arkham City came about, we went a little more closer to Harley Quinn's original costume look with the blacks and reds, though this was obviously more in leathers and a halter top, so updated for a more modern aesthetic. Now, the design philosophy behind this Arkham Asylum figure was still pretty evident when DC Direct released their Arkham City line 2 years later. Again, hinge joints and swivels are the name of the game, and also the shoulders still have that extra range of motion. I do appreciate the real metal chain on her belt, though. The face sculpt feels a bit off compared to the video game's design, giving her thick black eyeliner where she's supposed to have more of a smoky look going on there. I also get hung up on how high her hairline is here. It's not that far off from the game design, but it still feels like we're getting too much visible forehead. If you missed this figure the first time around, you could also buy Harley in a 2-pack with Mr. Hammer in a 2013 re-release, and in 2014, a retool of this figure in her Harley Quinn's Revenge DLC costume was available in a 4-pack with Batman, Robin, and Nightwing. DC Direct, then renamed DC Collectibles, would go on to make more 7-inch Harleys for the Arkham Knight video game release, with much improved articulation. 2015 saw her main costume, and 2016 gave us the Batgirl A Matter of Family DLC costume, the Arkham version of her original Harlequin costume. If you wanted an Arkham City Harley that could give you a more dynamic pose back in 2011, however, you were in luck. Mattel released their own line for Arkham City, and while their mass retail efforts were usually 6 inches tall, this line was, for whatever reason, in the 7-inch scale, just like the DC Direct series. This figure feels like the better of the 2 2011 release options, honestly. It has much better articulation than the DC Direct figure, but it's evident Mattel had to save budget on her tattoos. Instead of the full color designs the game gives her, we only get the line work on this toy. Still, the face sculpt definitely feels like an upgrade here, as the face designs look more on model. Unfortunately, the shape of her face looks like she's got a double chin thing going on, especially on my copy, where a mold line is very evident. Mattel, too, would go on to make an Arkham Knight Harley, though this time it was in their 4-inch scale DC Multiverse line, and well, that's not adding much to this conversation, is it? So I promised 3 companies made Arkham City Harley. We've seen DC Direct and Mattel, so what's the third? Well, in 2016, N.E.C.A threw their hat into the ring with a Toys R Us exclusive figure. As Arkham City releases go, this was a one-off. Their other releases to date have all been from other DC properties, but here too we have a 7-inch scale Harley. And frankly, it's the best one there is. Joints with great ranges of motion all around, and even the pigtails are on swivels. Her belt chain is metal, the tattoos are multicolor, and the face paint is superb. She comes with the baseball bat like the previous 2 figures, but also includes an alternate set of hands that can hold her dual Mac 10s. This is obviously a premium release figure, but her $20 retail price didn't break the bank and would be a standard figure cost today. I will admit that her face sculpt isn't any more accurate to the video game model than the other releases. The bangs are fuller and her chin is a little more pointed than it should be, but it works really well in our real world. It's almost unfair to compare these three figures, as the Mattel release was aimed at a different market, and the DC Direct is really a product of its time. Their later Arkham Knight figures are about on par with the N.E.C.A figure. But of these three, I would unquestionably choose the N.E.C.A release for my default Arkham City. And for the sake of completeness, you can get Arkham City Harley and other scales as well. Square Enix released an 8.5-inch figure in their PlayArts Kai line in 2013, and N.E.C.A put out a large 18-inch Harley in the same year they released the 7-inch toy. And though this isn't strictly an action figure, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that N.E.C.A also put out a life-size Harley in 2019. At 5 feet 11 inches tall and around $1,200, it is both outside my price range and my storage space. But I wonder what the future will hold. McFarlane's DC Multiverse toys are also a 7-inch scale, and they've already released Arkham City figures. How long will we have to wait until a fourth candidate for Harley enters the fray? Alright, that's all for me today. Be sure to comment below which figure you prefer. Subscribe, like, and share if you want to. Until next time.
Thanks for watching this episode of Articulated Points. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'd appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to learn more about some of the toys featured in this episode or want to follow us on social media, links are in the description below this video.